Welcome to Beyond the Shadows podcast, hosted by Honda Souls Paranormal. It is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. This is episode 34.
32.
32. Wow, I'm just
It's
totally off.
32. Yeah, you were really
I
off.
totally lost direction on what that was.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Dan, and apparently I don't know what episode we are on.
No, you do
I do
not,
know it's True
apparently.
Crime Tuesday, though.
It's True Crime Tuesday.
It's Maddie's True Crime Tuesday.
I like the sound of
Yes.
that. True Crime Tuesday.
Yeah.
I do
True
like that.
Crime Tuesday.
Yeah, for those who don't know, this
And
is
then we
not
figured out the
paranormal
internet
podcast.
problem. Apparently, the internet problem is apparently my side only. Because did you see the video clear as day, Maddie? The intros? Yeah, see, they just lagged. I didn't get to see none. All of a sudden, it went from red to green to, hey, we're on the screen. So the internet something on it's on my side. I have no clue. So
Who knows?
I lag.
Who knows?
So it's all right. It's that thing.
That's fine.
Weather outside is frightful. No, just joking. It's really nice outside. Yeah, it's really nice outside.
Beautiful outside.
So,
feels really good.
Yeah.
Feels really good
nice.
here in the
it's
mansion.
Not hot up here. Yep.
Nope.
Nicole and Eli and her dad were here. They were outside when we got
Nicole's
here.
dad.
It's unusual to have guests here.
Yeah.
It's unusual to have guests here when we get here at 6:00 at night. So that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, Nicole, we got guests here. Stuff. So
but, the first person this week was Lauren. She said, "Hi, friends.
Lauren.
Excited for tonight."
What up?
Mal said, "Hey, Mal."
What's up, Mal? Mal has started a podcast too.
Mal started a podcast. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Brandon said, "Hey, guys."
Brandon said, "Hey." What's up, Brandon?
And Kathy said,
"There's Kathy."
All.
That would be Kathy and Amelita. What's up, sis?
Bella. Good. Bella said hi. Hello, Bella. And Bella was just on a podcast as well.
Podcast Sunday night. Yeah, we were listening to Bella. Yep. She was talking about her podcast debut. I feel bad that we didn't have her on as our on her debut on podcast.
I know. She'll have to come on maybe one of the days that we don't have anybody in November. Maybe we'll have to have Bella on and talk about her apothecary company and Aunt Kathy said it's the Mo Show.
It's the Mo Show. Yeah, it is going to be her, but she gave me the information. I did some reading and I came up. Now, this is the funny thing is that she come out of her basement this morning and I had been doing some reading on this whole true crime thing that we're going to go over. And I was asking her questions. I was like, well, how about this theory and everything? She's like, whoa, wait a minute. Where'd you find that?
I was like, whoa.
So I found out more stuff. I found out more stuff about this case than Maddie is, and she's the true crime thing. So,
which, to be fair,
it's
a theory.
Over the internet watching this stuff.
Whoa! He did. He found a theory that I've never heard.
Theory.
It's a theory. And then I looked. I did my own research with that theory. I went downstairs back to the basement, and I found another theory too about another affair, some sort. So we'll get into that.
The other lady too. We're talking about the other lady. I knew that one too. So,
oh no, we're talking about the daughter. We'll get into it.
Yeah, we can get into that one. I know that one. I saw that one too. So yeah. I got all my bases covered.
Mal said, "Y'all calm down. I still don't know how to do anything." It's still great though. It's a big it's a leap of faith. It really is.
Just get a microphone. If you're gonna do camera or video, just put a camera up and just talk. I
Yeah.
thought it was gonna be hard too, but it gets easy.
Yeah. And I do 100% recommend if you are going to start a podcast, use StreamYard because it's been the easiest. I mean, we've had our ups and downs with StreamYard, but
Yeah.
it's a really good, easy way to start learning how to do a podcast.
Make sure you have good internet. That's my tip for starting a podcast. Make sure you have good streaming internet. You can have shitty quality microphones and cameras, but man, make sure you got some internet. We've had our trials and tribulations. If you look at our first season, we're almost ending our second season.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Things are
so crazy.
Oh, my God, I'm not. I don't know if I'm ready for this roller coaster that we're about to be on here. This is going to get really crazy, folks, and it happens to be at the busiest time of our year, spooky season. But Haunted Souls Paranormal is about to go on a roller coaster ride, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. Last night at the meeting, we were having a meeting last night of other things, and it was like a 4-hour long meeting. It was like till midnight, and I was like, oh my God, there's so much stuff that we have lined up and everything. So yeah, I mean, there might not be a podcast anymore. There might be a radio show. So
I don't. That's the thing, though. We can't even say that because we have no idea. But
right. I mean, the possibility of us doing a podcast but being on the radio would be pretty cool too. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Damn, someone just hit a car outside. That was loud.
Brandy said, "Hey guys, hello, Brandy."
Damn, I'm lagging. What's up, Brandy? We got Brandy and Bella on at the same time.
I know, right?
Happy birthday to Brandy. Her birthday was yesterday. Shout out to Brandy.
Happy
birthday, Brandy.
She turned the age of 24.
God, you're a butt kisser.
She said thank you in the comments, so she appreciated that one. Bella said, yes, I would love to. Yeah, we'll have to see. We have no idea what is coming to store in the next 2 months or even month.
I will hopefully next week we can let the cat out of the bag and kind of start going what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We do have a meeting on Sunday with these other people that presently to sign the contract. And once the contract's signed, I mean, we're hitting the ground running. We're going.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Crazy.
Susan said, hey, hello.
What up, Susan?
Mal said, I've tried 2 different apps because I'm doing it from my phone. I've said lots of cuss words.
StreamYard.
Yep. StreamYard's good. You can also do it off your phone too. So that's what's good about it.
Yeah.
But
I still would try StreamYard.
Yeah. StreamYard's been so
Something's
far.
going on outside the building here.
I don't know how you're hearing that.
So you're all caught up?
Yep, we're all caught up.
I guess I don't have my headphones on. Because like I said,
I don't know. I'm not hearing anything. But
so anything else going on? We do have next week is our big event next Saturday. There is a couple changes to that event. We just got notified that one of the buildings we can't go into. It kind of sucks. I am capping the tickets off at 50. So Lauren, if you're getting your ticket, you need to get in there and get your ticket or save or whatever. Because we're going to be stopped selling tickets here because we don't have one of the buildings. So I don't want to cram everybody into the
Yeah.
buildings that we do have. So we wanted to make it, it's still good to investigate what we do have, but I'm not going to go the full 100. I'm stopping at 50. Uh, I'm losing the money that way because I know I probably could have sold more tickets. We were selling tickets crazy here, so and that. But yeah, I mean, we got Missouri State. I know we're almost sold out Friday night at Monroe House now too.
Nice.
So I mean, we're gonna have both of those nights sold out. So that'll be a nice finishing hoorah of the year for Haunted Souls Paranormal.
Yeah.
We also will be doing Witches Night Out in Kimswick. We will be making an appearance. Well, I don't know if Maddie will, but I know Witches Familiar Lauren and Gina will be at the Witches Night rollout or at the roller rink. That's the Friday night before. On the 11th, I'm gonna go and hang out with them and make an appearance. Sound like I'm a popular person. I'm just gonna show up. It's not like I'm making an appearance.
Just showing support.
I'll have autographs and cards there. You can have your autograph. I'll have
Jesus
pictures.
Christ.
Yeah, no, it's not happening like that. Just to let y'all know. I mean, me, Maddie do have pictures. If you want an autograph, yeah, we'll autograph them for you. Everybody, you laugh, but we give one away for each festival or each like metaphysical fair we go. Someone always like, can I have a picture with you? And we're like, would you like an autographed one? Or like, yeah. I'm like, a little weird. It is weird.
It's so weird. I don't think I'll ever get used to that. Ever.
Yeah. So I've asked for some couple of people have asked for my autograph at the metaphysical fairs and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
Better save that. That might be worth some money someday. I might commit a crime. I might go on a serial killer shot.
I like how it's not from the paranormal. It's literally just you committing a murder. Which is so funny and ironic of today's. That's so ironic from today's topic.
People, hey, people are gonna piss me off. I'm gonna go on a killing spree.
Oh, Mal said I want a picture and an autograph.
It's up with it. I got a picture of me and Maddie.
We'll send it your way.
You can autograph it.
Brandy also said we finally met. She said we also met Steph from McIntyre Villa.
Oh, she met Steph.
Yeah.
When did she meet Steph?
I don't know.
I think they went back to the Sally house. Did you guys swing back by McIntyre Villa and meet Stephanie? Because I remember Bella said that she was going to she went to the Sally house. They stood outside of it like kind of what we did, which is weird. Before we get into your topic, I know I just watched the movie The Deliverance, which is the movie that's based on the demon house in Gary, Indiana. And that house in Gary, Indiana resembles the Sally house. It's just not a big house.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a small house. And in the movie, it's like a 2-story house with a basement. But the demon house in Gary, Indiana was just like a 1-story house and stuff. It's probably like a 2-bedroom house. It wasn't a very big house. But it was actually a good movie. If anybody wants to see it, it's on Netflix. It's called The Deliverance.
Brady said that movie was horrible.
What movie? The Deliverance?
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good movie. That was a good movie. Are you thinking of Deliverance like the, that one? The new one's called The Deliverance. And it's not about an exorcism. It's about the deliverance, they call it. It's not an exorcism.
Mm.
I mean, they have like documentation of like that stuff that happened in the movie being true. Like the nurse and another priest both said that they saw the little boy climb a wall backwards. So it's not like that they're lying about that part in the movie. I mean, they said, they visually have, two people saying that they saw that happen. That would freak me out if I saw some little kid climb up the back of, like, behind. He climbs up the wall from behind. It's creepy. But Zach Baggins bought the house and tore it down, so we can't investigate it.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, you can
Brandon
finish
said,
reading all the comments now since
so
you're laughing and not paying attention.
I am. I'm not laughing. Anyways,
You did laugh. You're laughing.
Oh yeah, because I saw Brandy's comment when you were like, "It's a really good movie." It's just funny because I
thought
just
it was a
learned,
good movie.
and I do have to read the comments in advance. That way, I know how to set it up. Lauren said, "I gotta wait for." No, that way, anyways, I gotta wait for my paycheck on the 15th. So keep it open.
Okay.
Let's see. Mal said the comment, "I want a picture and autograph." We told her that we would. She said no because I know it would be a doll-sized box in my mailbox.
No.
We would send you an autograph. We wouldn't send you we wouldn't send you a doll. Don't you worry. I wouldn't do that to another
What's above
fellow doll scared. It says, "I want a picture and autograph."
Oh, that's Miles. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then so Brandy said we met her at a fair in St. Joe. She was there Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. She got to meet
so
her.
Cool.
She's really cool. She's so cool. Brandon said, "I watched that recently. Apparently, it's inaccurate to the original story. It's not a bad movie, though." Brandy said, "Maddie, your dad has bad taste." Inaccurate. Yep. Which, I mean,
well, they did say though, but it has come. I mean, I don't know what the other stuff, but the nurse and a priest said they saw the little boy climb up the wall backwards. So that part of the movie, at least I know, is true. I mean, it's inaccurate too because it takes place in Pittsburgh, which it's really in Gary, Indiana, and stuff. And then like the little boy that gets possessed in the movie, her son, because she has 3 kids, and her son, the youngest one, he passed away in the age of 17. He just died a few years ago, and they don't know. Yeah, they don't know what from, or they're not saying. And some people have their ideas that it's still a demon or whatever, that was in him or what. So
who
that was
knows?
kind of cool. Well, that was all on that whole. I was on a whole documentary thing today because of Madison. So
see, I'm educating you. There you go.
But Zach Baggins bought it. It blinded him. He tore the building down, and he has the steps at the thing. That's all I got to say about that. So I will not quote any more movies on here. I'm such a bad movie rater. I'm not no C School at Ebert. Madison's like, who are they?
I don't know who they are. Who are they?
They were movie critics. They used to be on like TV on Sunday nights, and they would always show you movie clips and rate the movies and stuff. All right, so you want to get into your thing?
Yeah. So if you guys could not tell already, so this is a true crime themed podcast. True crime actually kind of got me into the paranormal. It started off as when I watched YouTube. I feel like I was like the first generation that really watched YouTube, like was watching things on YouTube. And back then they used to have these things where all the YouTubers would have story times, and it was YouTubers that would be like story time, the time my stalker broke in, or story time, the time my boyfriend cheated on me. Like it was like those life stories. Well, I don't know how I clicked on the one. I remember it was story time. The one time there was a serial killer in my town. And so I clicked on it. I started watching it. I'm in middle school, by the way. I probably shouldn't have been watching these 18 plus gruesome crimes, but I did. And I got on a huge bandwagon of murders. And then I remember I clicked on the story about the Black Dahlia and it was unsolved. And I was like, it just got all in this rabbit hole of unsolved murders. So I would call myself a true crime junkie. And then that got me kind of in the paranormal of the what ifs, of the questioning and all that. So it kind of slowly trickled into the paranormal. But so today we are going to be, I'm going to be telling you, as well as my dad, because he decided to do his own little research, is about the Kiddie Cabin Murders. What basically how I kind of like broke it off into pieces of like background information leading up to the crime, and then the crime, the investigation, and then the suspects, and then at the end we'll kind of do like the theories that we found and researched and other theories that people think what happened that night or why it happened. So it starts off, we'll kind of introduce the people of the crime. So the mother, her name was Susan Sue.
Dun, dun, dun.
Everyone called her Sue Sharp. So Sharp is going to be the family. And she was born on March 29th, 1945. She was born in Springfield, Massachusetts. She grew up there. She met her husband there, and they had their kids there. And in 1979, along with her 5 children, she left her home. And after separating from her husband, and they moved, her and her 5 children, they moved to Northern California. The following fall, she decided to move her children to a house called Cabin Number 28, which is in a railroad town of Keddie. So the town is called Keddie. They moved into town to the Cabin 28. She is there with her 15-year-old son named John, her 14-year-old daughter Sheila, her 12-year-old daughter Tina, and her 2 younger sons, Rick, the age of 10, and Greg, 5. So she's got a lot of children. She's a single mother. She's in this cabin. And you saw the video that I saw, and there's these 2 guys. It's from BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries, and they're actually going to the cabin. And it's a pretty thick wood cabin, is it not?
Yeah, it's like you have to get pretty deep. They even say the same thing, that it goes pretty deep into that. Just to hit on a couple things, like, so they moved across the country.
Mm-hmm.
They were in Massachusetts and they moved to Northern California. They moved, her and 5 kids traveled across the United States to move in, because I think her uncle or cousin lived up that way.
Yes.
And they were living in a trailer for a while. And then, and this is what's really this is what starts off this whole thing kind of weird, is that a sheriff used to live in that cabin, and he left. He moved out, and then that's when the Cabin 28 came open. Is that a sheriff used to live in there, and then they moved in there with the kids.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a pretty, like, and I think now that you really don't know why she divorced him, people speculate that he was abusive, that there was a reason why she.
Yeah, there's numerous people who have said it was abusive relationship.
Yeah. So she moves her children. So they're in this Cabin 28, and they loved it. Reading articles, they love it there. They love it in Keddie. They've made friends with the neighboring cabins. Susan is like at her happiest, people have said, when she was there. She loved her children. That was her thing. That was her children were her life. And a lot of people said that their friends would come over because she was very nurturing. She was very caring and open arms into her house. And if you saw the banner of the podcast, that picture in the top right is the cabin. It's maybe it's a 1-4 with the basement, I would say, is the best way I can describe it.
It's a pretty small, shady looking cabin, though.
Yeah,
But you got to think this
it's
is
not.
1981.
Yeah,
This is back in 1981. This is not, this is the cabin looked like it was pretty. It was only a 2-bedroom cabin.
Oh yeah.
The boys slept in one room, and the mom shared their room with the 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a very big place either.
No.
It was a small. It was a shack cabin like thing.
Yeah.
But then she was also friends with, like you said, she was very good with friends. And she had the Smarts on the one side of them that they were friends with.
Yep.
And then they have the Seabolts that were on the other side that they were all friends. They were all, so.
Oh yeah, like and that's what people they loved it there. Even if they were in the smallest cabin, they loved it there. It was just beautiful, and the way people describe Keddie, it's these thick green trees, and it's a beautiful town, and it's a great place to raise your family. Everyone loved Keddie, and that's why everyone brought their kids there. So on April 11th, 1981, around 11:30 a.m., Sue, Sheila, and Greg drove from the residence of their friends, the Meeks family, to retrieve Rick. So she takes her oldest daughter and the youngest son, and they're driving from the Meeks to retrieve Rick.
Yeah, because he was at baseball tryouts.
Yes, he was at baseball tryouts. They put him in baseball, and they actually met up with John, who was with his friend Dana Wilgate. And John and Dana had been out in town. They were going to
they were
shops.
in Quincy. They were hitchhiking back to the cabin.
Yeah, and John had asked Sue if Dana could just stay at the cabin with them. And Sue was like, that's fine. Like, she was always welcoming their friends to stay the night. And she's like, even though it was a small cabin, they may do. At the same evening, Sheila has plans to spend the night. So Sheila is the 12-year-old daughter. Or sorry, the 14-year-old daughter. So she's the oldest daughter. She had made plans to spend the night with the Seabolt family who lived adjacent number 27 cabin. While Sue remained at home with Rick, Greg, and the boys' young friend Justin Smart, who was the other cabin on the other side of them. They were friends. I believe you don't really hear a lot of the Smart family details, but I know there was Marilyn, the mother. There was Marty is the husband, and then they have their son, Justin Smart. So Justin spends the night at the house. So Sheila departs the house number 28 shortly after about 8 p.m. and she goes to sleep at the Seabolt's house. Tina, who has been watching television at the Seabolt's house residence, returned to 28 after asking the time, which was about 9:30. So Tina and Sheila literally cross paths. Tina's going back to the number 28 as Sheila is leaving number 28 and going back and going to her friend's house. So that's what's happened. Sue puts him to bed. Now the boys with Justin are in the room. And Tina, Sue, John, and Dana are in the living room. I'm guessing that's what the sleeping arrangements were. I'm not too sure. They don't really specify how the sleeping arrangements were. All they know is that Greg, Rick, and Justin were in the bedroom. So here's where the murders happen. Approximately at 8 a.m. in the morning, April 12th, Sheila returns to cabin number 28 and discovers the dead body of Sue, John, and Dana in the house's living room. All three had been bounded by medical tape and electric cords. Tina was absent from the home, while the three younger siblings, Rick, Grabe, and Justin, were found physically unharmed in the adjacent bedroom. So Sheila walks in. She's thinking, I'm going to see my family. They're asleep or already up for bed. And they're not. Upon discovering the scene, Sheila rushes back to the Seabolt's house. Jamie Seabolt goes over and retrieves Rick and Greg and Justin through the bedroom door. Now, later on, when investigating and doing all that, when they're interviewing the window. Yep, that's what I said. Did I not say that?
You said door. You said door.
Oh, I meant window.
That's okay. You said door. That's fine. Yeah, it was window.
So they said that
so they wouldn't. So they took them through the window so they didn't see the bodies in the living room.
Yes,
is what while they went through the bedroom window.
Yeah. Later on in investigating, Jamie says that he did walk into the house to see if anybody was still alive. And he possibly contaminated evidence when he walked through the door.
Yeah, didn't he? Yeah, but didn't he say? Didn't I read that he came in the back door of the cabin, not the front. He came in the back to see, and that's when they said they contaminated. And it was a little weird how he came in the back and he was contaminated if they were in the living room. I thought I read that he came in the back door. I don't know if he walked all the way through. He could have came all the way through to the living room or whatever. So
I don't remember if his cabin was towards the back door or if his cabin was towards the front. I'm not too sure. It's weird. There's a lot of contaminating and there's a lot of
so that was the first thing is right there off the bat is the police blamed him for contaminating the crime scene.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how much he could have contaminated. You know what I'm saying? It's
if he walked in and then he saw it and was like, I got it. You know, he didn't go over there and touch anything. So he does all that. So the murders of Sue, John, and Dana were vicious, to say the least. Now, this is where I am going to go into a little bit of detail of how they were found in their autopsies. So if you don't like that stuff, then this is the time.
Away from the screen.
Yeah. 2 bloody knives and 1 hammer were found at the scene. Blood splatter evidence from inside the house indicated that the murders had all been taking place in the living room. Now, no, it took in the living room. Now, the bedroom was just adjacent to it. So they were really close. It's a small cabin. Susan was discovered lying on her side near the living room sofa, nude from the waist down and gagged with a blue bandana and her own underwear, which had been secured with tape. She had been stabbed in the chest, and her throat was stabbed horizontally. She would pass the wound passing through her larynx and nicking her spine on the side of her head. Nicking on her spine, and then the side of her head was imprinting the butt of a Daisy 880 Powerline BB/pellet rifle. So she was found, and that's why they think this wasn't just a random, because the way they were found was so gruesome and so vicious that they think it was a motivated murder. John's throat was slashed. And Dana had multiple head injuries and had been manually strangled to death. Um, John and Dana both suffered from blunt force traumas to their heads, which caused by one or more hammers. So that's where this starts coming into place of, okay, was there one murder? Was there two murders? Who was it? And so autopsies determined that Sue and John had died from a knife wound and blunt force trauma. And Dana had died by asphyxiation. So all that it's true, and that's the thing, is like everything has happened in the living room, so why are the kids not hearing any of this?
Right. And then on top of that, Tina's missing.
Yeah, Tina's missing. Tina is nowhere to be found.
The other daughter's missing, nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
They have search parties and stuff for years. They can't find her at all.
Yeah.
She's been abducted. They believe that she's been abducted about this. So, yeah. So Tina's missing. The two boys are killed. The mother's killed. And the three little ones are in the bedroom alive.
Yeah. Which, again,
Sheila, she's alive because she was in another cabin.
Yes, correct. So that's another reason why they think it was motivated at this point, because there's three children in the bedroom who are still safe and sound. So if this was a random, why didn't they just kill everybody? So Sheila and the Seabolt family heard no commotion during the night. A couple living nearby house, number 16, was awakened, they said, about 1:15 in the morning, and what sounded like muffled screams. Martin Smart, or Marty is what they used to call him, Justin's dad, a neighbor and a main suspect, claimed that a claw hammer had gone missing from his home, which is, how ironic is you're a main suspect, your son's living at the house, and your weapon, who has been missing, is possibly one of the weapons at the crime scene. That's just too coincidental.
Well, and then they said the witness said they saw a green van at Marty's house.
Yes.
Parked at Marty's house too, was like a green van.
Yeah.
And then I think Marty had a roommate at the time, a guy from the next con that lived with him named Bobo Dean.
Yes. So
Bobo Dean.
So so when they're interviewing the Smarts, the detectives had this murder didn't happen in Keddie. That's what everyone's like, why all of a sudden is there a murder? So they were interviewing the locals, and then that's when they had numerous people, including the members of the Siebel family, had recalled seeing the green van at the Sharps house at around 9 p.m. So like you said, why you have this random green van? And like you said, his name is John Bobadine. That's the guy who was staying with them, who was the ex-convict, like you said. And they saw the green van randomly at 9 p.m., which is, if you think about it, they left about 9:30. Well, Tina had asked about 9:30 what time it was, and it was about 9:30. And so, I mean, the timelines are all really close together to the point where it's looking a little suspicious. So let's see. Justin offered, so they interviewed Justin. He is the friend who stayed the night. Justin offered conflicting stories of the evening and stated that he had dreamed details of the murder. Um, so his story would change of, okay, he was dreaming, but then he remembers seeing things relating to the murders. It was a dream, but then he wasn't dreaming. Um, and there was an interview where Sheila and Rick, I believe, where it was before the place had been torn down. They were going around and they were doing like a tour of it, and showing the camera, where things were happening and where they stayed at. And they even think, they were like, we think Justin saw something that night, because the way he was like, his story just kept bouncing back and forth. So in his later account of the events, he told under hypnosis, can never say that correctly, he claimed to have seen Sue with two men. Based on Justin's descriptions, and they did sketches of the two unknown men, which this is so weird. So they were produced by Harlan Embry, a man with no artistic ability and no training in the forensic sketching. It was never explained why the Axis Justice Department did not have a top forensic artist come in and ask, the details of who he thought it was. And law enforcement's chose an amateur. They chose the person to come in and draw, and they chose an amateur, which is so weird on why they would do that. So the suspects were described to be in their late 20s, early 30s. One stood about 5'11", and the other one stood about 6'2". One who had blonde, dark hair, and the other had about like, he said he couldn't see it, but he had like greased hair. He had sunglasses on. So he's giving details of who he saw, and that's what they do. That's it. They have the sketches. That's it. I don't remember reading anything or hearing anything of they were really diving deep on who it could be based on the sketches. They kind of just did the sketch and that was it. That was pretty much it. I mean, did you hear anything or see anything about them doing anything with the sketches?
No, they just had the sketches.
Yeah.
But the sketches resemble both of those guys. If you look at the Warner's article, they have both of their pictures on.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the driver's license from Marty, and then Bo Bodine, his picture,
You
whatever
just like saying his last
they
name.
have. Well, his name is John Bodine, is what it is, but his nickname is Bo, so it's Bo Bodine. So it's Bo Bodine. And they resemble the sketch. Those two guys resemble the sketch, and it's kind of weird. But they didn't really go with anything. And there's a lot to some things that when we get into this theory, when you get done to discuss, because there's some conspiracies about some certain things and and stuff like that. But that's pretty much. I mean, they didn't really do anything else with the
No. So they decided to. So the crimes are happening. Everyone's freaking out, wondering who did it, who done it. And rumors start regarding the crimes being ritualistic. So there's a ritual involved, or motivated by drugs. Were kind of starting up. And so the police had dismissed its thing the week following the murders, that neither drug or any legal drugs were found at the home.
Because they were saying that she was a drug addict. She was selling drugs to make money in for a mother of 5 kids.
Yes.
That she was selling drugs and doing all that stuff to make the money and stuff.
Which, I
So they
mean,
cleared her of all that. That wasn't.
yeah.
They're talking about 81. So they pretty much cleared that philosophy, saying that that wasn't involved of anything like that. So it
Well,
wasn't
and
drug
two,
related or anything like that.
well, and two, divorce wasn't like a very big thing back then. It wasn't like a normal thing.
Well, yeah, and then my thing, I mean, there's pretty much the police really didn't do too much. They interviewed Marty, they let him go. I think they said that even Marty left town. He
Yeah.
moved to Reno. Uh, yeah, everybody like just booked. Like his wife, she moved the next day on the 12th. She left,
Yeah.
which was really clear. Maryland, she booked it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of weird things about that, and I mean, I didn't know how much more you had left. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Before
fine.
we can discuss. Okay, but that my thought when I was reading it was, what about the husband? But they had said that the husband came and saw where they were at, and then he left. So he had an alibi that he was,
Yeah.
all the way on the other side of the country or whatever. So
Yeah.
it'd be kind of hard
So
to commit, a
it's
crime
already
that
gotten
far
to the
away.
point. Yeah, it's already gotten to the point where the police are kind of just being like, eh. So like, what's going on there? Why aren't they doing? I mean, they're investigating, but why aren't they getting them the best forensics? You have nothing at this point. Usually, when police officers and
Right.
being a true crime junkie, and you can listen to any kind of true crime thing, when they don't know anything, they have nothing to go off of. They are looking for any little thing they can. They're putting their best out there. They're putting their best investigators on it. They're putting their best forensic artist out there to see us get a sketch, not some volunteer or a person that doesn't really have any training in it. It's weird.
Right. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was cold. I mean, it's still unsolved.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do anything. And then it
No.
comes into, a lot of people had said that they fumbled the case. They didn't, there's conspiracies to say that the police were covering up, that the sheriff and Marty were best friends and stuff like that. And the sheriff has said, no, I was never friends with him. There was never,
Mm-hmm.
So it just, the way that they covered up, missed evidence, that kind of stuff is just really, I know I read part where someone said a guy that came out of the police academy could have figured this crime out.
Yeah.
The Pulaski County was just horrible at what they
Yeah.
did, and and stuff.
Yeah.
So with that, it didn't come. The next creepy thing to that was, like, Marty moved away, Marilyn moved away, all that stuff. I think the remaining kids went and lived with her aunt or something, and then ended up going into foster care because she had kids of her own.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But then 3 years later, to the date of the murders.
Hold on. I know you're getting to hold on. So, Tina's disappearance is what you're getting at, right? Correct?
Yes.
So Tina's disappearance, when initially investigated, the FBI possibly ruled it as an abduction. They said she's been kidnapped. There was an update, and then that was it. They didn't say anything about putting out an Amber Alert, and she was just kind of missing. And then on April 29th, 1981, the FBI had backed off the search as the California State Department of Justice was doing an adequate job and made the FBI's presence unnecessary. So the FBI has backed off. They still cannot find Tina. They can still not find out who did it or why this happened. And the FBI backs away. A grid pattern search of the area covering about 5 miles radius around the house was conducted with police canines. The efforts were fruitless. On April 11th, 1984, a bottle collector discovered by the canine portion of human remains skull, part of a mandible, at Camp 18. The remains were confirmed by a forensic pathologist for those remains of Tina in 1984. Which what you were getting at was the exact. So the police get an anonymous call saying, "Hey, you need to check out this cabin 18, blah, 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 blah. There's human remains there." 3 years exactly to the date that the murders happened. They go there with the canines.
Here's the thing about. Well, here's the thing that's funny about it is, one, Camp 18 was the area, it wasn't actually at a cabin, because it was 50 miles away from Cabin 26. So I think Camp 18 was another camping area.
Yes, it was,
because it was 50 miles, exactly 50 miles away from Camp 26 or Cabin 26. But the gentleman that called told them it was Tina's skull. Like, he's like, this is Tina's, sharp skull. You can find it here at this place.
Yeah.
And then he was saying that he was some bottling guy. Why would you be looking? And then when they went to find the skull and the remains, they said they had to go deep into the woods. Like, why would a bottler be back there looking for bottles back there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they think that someone that was involved in the murder knew. So, and that's stuff that's evidence now that 35 years later.
Yeah.
The new sheriff and an investigator has opened the case, the cold case, and it has been finding different things and stuff. So, like that guy that called about Tina, I think they're analyzing his voice on other calls and stuff to try to link it to the voice and stuff.
Yeah. So shortly after announcing the discovery, so the call was not documented. They have no documentations of that call. That's what I read. So now there's no. So again, it's weird. People say that there is documentation. People say there's not documentation.
Yeah, they have documentation. They found that in the evidence box. They found that in an evidence box in an envelope sealed. Like the private investigator that opened up the case had the evidence box. He found 2 things in the evidence box that no one's ever said. He found the letter from Marty to Marilyn that says that, what else do you want? What else can I do for your love? Ain't 4 bodies enough? Why are you leaving me? So he confessed to the murder right there to her. She says she don't ever remember that letter, but then she says that's his writing.
Yeah.
Marilyn said that was now. No is to say that they can't do nothing to Marty or John Bodine because both of them have since passed away. So they can't go, they can't get DNA, from. I think they said John or Bodine was in with the mafia or under the crime, So he died in 88, 7 years later he died. And then, Marty died too. But Marty had moved to Reno. And he even told the psychiatrist that. Did you read that?
Yeah, I'm getting to that part.
Oh, Come on, I want to discuss things. Let's go, move
I
it, girl.
know.
Gosh,
I'm telling the
come on.
crime. So then here it is. A tape containing recording the call was found at the bottom of the evidence box in 2013. So like you said, it opens back up, everything like that. So again, like the house that the murders occurred in, they tore it down in 2004. So it was demolished. So that's what makes it hard is now that they're opening it back up, they can't they don't have the location where it was, happened at. So in July of 2012, according to a 2016 article, Martin Smart had left Keddie and driven to Reno, Nevada, shortly after the murders. While there was a letter, like he was just saying, there was a letter sent to his wife, Marilyn, and it said, and I quote, "I've paid the price for your love, and now I've brought it with 4 people's lives." In 2016 interview, Cambridge, who was the detective at the time, said that the letter was overlooked at the initial investigation. It was never admitted to the evidence. He later criticized the quality of the initial investigation, saying, like you had just said, you could take somebody out of the academy. And those were the sheriff's exact words. You could take somebody out of the academy and people could solve this murder. But they did nothing. A counselor that Smart was visiting originally had him admitted to the murders of Sue and Tina, but claimed I did not have anything to do with the boys. He allegedly told his counselor this. And he told the counselor that Tina was killed to prevent her from identifying him. And she had witnessed the whole thing. Martin died in 2000. And that was it for Martin. And then John Badine was another suspect who had the same neighboring cabin as Smart, and allegedly had ties to organized crime in Chicago, which brings on that mafia theory that he was heavy in the mafia in Chicago. And he died in 1986. So they couldn't do anything with them. And then on March 24th, 2016, a hammer matching the description of the Smarts that the Smarts had claimed in their original interview with them back in 1981 was found in a local pond. Gambridge, the new investigator that opened this back up, he actually was, I believe they said he was 16 at the time, he was 16 at the time that the murders happened. And he said, and I quote, "The location it was found, it would have been intentionally put there. It would not have been an accidentally misplaced item." Gambridge also stated that at the time, 6 potential suspects were being examined. In 2018, this is the most recent that we know. In 2018, Gambridge stated that the DNA evidence recovered from a piece of tape at the crime scene matched that of a known living suspect. No arrests have been made. So that is it. That is what we know so far about the crime. It's just this weird No one knows. And if they do know, they're keeping very, very secretive about it. Um, yeah. Yes.
Wow, what's your take? I mean, you just read all that. I mean, what's your take?
Personally, for me, I think it was Justin's dad. And in that same interview with Sheila and Greg, I believe, they even think it is. The kids who are still alive think it was Martin. They think it was him. They think it was Justin's dad. I mean, you got to think about it. Justin was there. Why did those boys not get harmed any? If he killed Tina because she saw him, then
Why didn't she just kill Tina there?
yeah. But also too,
Why did he have to take her? Why did he have to abduct her for 3 years? Or I mean, he probably killed her that night or whatever.
oh, probably. Well, and two, like it makes sense because if he were to kill somebody because he saw them, he couldn't do anything in that back room because you can't kill your own son for seeing you. So you just don't do anything in the back room with those boys. So it just
Why do you commit the murders when you know your kid's there in the first place?
yeah.
Why would you not wait till your kids are not there? You know what I'm saying? That's a little weird too.
I mean, I guess
there's a
if you
different
think,
philosophy. I mean, they say Marty did it because there's a philosophy. There's he's saying that Marty was an abusive man, and
Mhm.
Marty and Marilyn were having wedding. Marilyn was going to leave Marty,
Mhm.
and Marty or not Tina,
Sue.
Sue and Marilyn were friends, and Sue was telling Marilyn to leave or whatever because she had left her husband, and Marty got wind of that and was very upset that she was meddling in their marriage. So that's one thing that they said that he was mad about. Because apparently they said that they'd actually went to the sheriff first and asked the sheriff for wedding advice, for marriage advice.
They're just asking the whole town.
Back in the day in 81 in Keddie, I think the population was 66 people. I think I read that the population back then was 66 for the town.
Yeah. It was a small little, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't have, there wasn't a lot of, there wasn't like a counselor or a priest or, so I mean, if you went to the police, be like, "Hey, sheriff, can you give me some wedding advice, some marriage advice?"
Yeah.
And they just said that Marty just lost his job. They moved there because he was a cook for the restaurant. There was a lodge, I guess, a lodge there on the camping, a restaurant, and he was a cook, and he had just lost his job. There's all kinds. They're saying also that Marty and Sue were having an affair.
Yeah.
And then Marilyn was having an affair with somebody else. I believe that's true because how does that day you just get up and move?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to be planning on leaving your husband.
Yeah.
So that philosophy makes me think that that's true, that he got upset. Maybe he got wind, because they always say those murders that happen like that are a crime of passion. That to strangle someone is intimately, like, face to face,
Yeah.
but I mean, if he only killed the girls and Bobo Bodine killed the boys, but why take Tina? That's what irks. That's what has me is so confusing. Is why you take Tina? Just kill her there.
Yeah. So so it's so weird because what's really weird too is there's nothing mentioned about Dana. That's what's weird. Because it was Dana, Tina, and Sue, who were the women that were killed, and just it was just John who died. That's the only boy. So the fact that he was
No,
like
Dana was a boy. Dana was a boy.
was
Yeah, Dana was a boy.
okay. I wasn't see. That's
I was
another thing
pretty
that
sure that
people
with Dana
were.
was a boy. Dana was a boy. Yeah, because Dana was 17. Dana was a boy. I thought it was a girl too until I saw pictures of them all, and there was 2 girls and 2 boys.
Yeah, no, it. I
So
mean,
Dana
it.
was a boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the Buzz thing, Dana's dad, they have a picture of Dana's dad instead of his son. He's upset that his son's
Oh.
murder is never taken. So yeah, Dana was a boy. It was a 2 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's because I was
I
like,
thought at first too.
was
I
like,
thought it was 3
no one
girls. I was like,
talks. But I mean, it's just.
I think Dana was just collateral damage.
Oh yeah, wrong
He
place,
just
wrong
was in the wrong
time.
place at the wrong time. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but then I thought too, when I was reading before the whole Marty thing, is they said that Dana and Justin were hitchhiking in Quincy, which is right outside Keddie. And that's when his mom picked them both up and took them back to the cabin. And then they hitchhiked back to Quincy earlier that night again. And apparently they went back to that town again. And I was thinking that, oh, maybe somebody followed them out. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But then the whole Marty thing and the whole hammer missing, that's a little weird. And they find the hammer. Do you know how they found the hammer?
Yeah, I said how they found the hammer.
Oh, it was a guy looking for a ring. Did you read that? That's how they found the hammer. Was they had a wedding thing out there, and the bride, they had a wedding thing out in the land, and the bride lost her ring.
Oh,
And they had a guy with
no.
a metal detector because the pond had dried up.
Yeah.
And they said that they had a metal detector, and they found the hammer or whatever. And by the time the police came back, the pond was full of water again. Is that not weird?
It's like, hey.
And they had to like search in the water to get the. Is that not weird? It was dried up, and then when they went and got the police and came back, it was full of water.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and they said that it had like years of rust on it that they're trying to.
Oh yeah. Well, and like I said, even the police officer that's the investigator now, he's like, no, someone knew this pond was here. So it must have been very, very deep in the woods where it's not just like, oh, there's a pond over here. I'm gonna throw it in there. So even the investigators, like, this was not just some random person. And it kind of almost made like it seem like the original investigation, those officers who were dealing with that were kind of putting that off of like, it was just random. We don't know who. Here we go.
Yeah, it makes the police look like there was a cover. I mean, I understand there's some saying there was a cover up.
Yeah.
And it has to. I mean, you have the letter, the tape of the guy calling 3 years later saying that his name, here, if you want the remains of Tina, they're right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When he gives her name and, he knew exactly who that those bones were.
Yeah. Well, and then it's weird too because they said it was undocumented. We don't have any documentation, but then they find that tape underneath the evidence box, like in
the new investigator opens up the box. Yeah.
So
in the bottom of the box, he finds that tape and that letter.
So you lied. Like, it's just.
Yeah, it's like, who are you covering up for? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I know we see a lot. Like I'm a court TV addict, and I watch court TV a lot. And there's the guy in Vegas that was the politician that killed the guy. He got convicted from killing the newspaper guy. He said it was the police were doing cover up, and that he was being framed. And then you have the Reed lady that said that she's being framed for her boyfriend. It was a cop, and they're saying that she ran him over in the snow, backed into him. Which I think that one is the evidence to that one is big. Like the police are covering up some stuff. I think he did something happened after she left. They got into a fight, and something happened to him, and they
Oh
are covering up because there's
yeah.
some stuff there's some things that are weird, like the pieces of glass are missing, and or different colored glass in there. It's just really weird and
Mm.
stuff. There was a hung jury, so they got to retry her again. But you always hear about that. You have the guy in Making a Murder. He says the police framed him, and this the stuff that you see in that thing is just crazy. Of like, it makes you think that police really can cover up stuff, and maybe Marty was in with the police. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
he.
Well, and two, this is in the 80s. There's not a lot of documentation like there is now.
Well, there was no DNA back then either. We had no
No,
DNA tests,
no, and that's why
so
all the
you
serial
know.
killers got away with stuff back then.
I
It's a
mean, my
lot. It
question
was
is, they have.
hey, it was a lot harder to commit a crime. It's a lot harder to commit a crime now and get away with
Oh
it than it was
yeah,
back then. Oh, 100%.
but like they said, they have 6 suspects right now that are alive. That are alive. 6 people that are potential suspects,
Yeah.
and how have you not? And then you have DNA from on the tape. Why have you not brought that person in for questioning? That's weird. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
I,
so
it's weird. What, anybody commented on anything?
I'm gonna go through a theory real quick. So
Okay.
so you just said you had mentioned to me about the theory that Sue and Marty were having an affair. So I found this other one. Um,
Oh, okay. I know what you want to talk about too.
yes.
Yeah.
So there was really nothing to go off of. Like it was hard for people to conspiracy theorize and everything. So now this theory, um, so there was a film. It's called Cabin 28. It's a horror movie. Now I have not seen this movie, but it is a horror movie, and they even say it's based on a true story, um, which I did not know when I was reading. The Strangers is based off of.
Yeah, it's kind of based off that. Yeah.
Yes, they took inspiration. Um, so in the film of 28, Cabin 28, it introduces to what happened before the night of the murders, allowing us to make our own. It kind of like made people be like, well, could that have happened? Is that the reason why? So in the movie, they had mentioned, now all these kids are older to make them more gruesome, be able to be on film. Um, and it says like it had mentioned something that Tina was pregnant in the movie. Um, and so people thought maybe that Marty had been appearing to have interfering with the 12-year-old. And later he that could be why he had hit her body for 3 years, or had her body for a
Kidnapped her or
while.
whatever to see
Yeah,
if she was going to have the kid. So you're saying could be a kid running around that could be.
yeah, we don't know. And so that was like the kind of own little theory of like, um so basically it says in the movie, um Marty is angry, um because now they're gonna question why she's, pregnant. So he starts getting nervous, angry, and that's why he decides to kill Sue, um and everybody else because he didn't want anybody finding out. So that was a whole sad
Right.
theory, obviously, because that's awful. Because she's 12 years old. But that movie had came out, and they were like, okay, could that be a theory? And so there is tons of
Excuse me.
There's
Sorry.
no there's no answers that are being given, so people just have to theorize and make their own investigating about it. So,
Right. But they do say that this wasn't a one person crime.
oh
Two people
no.
had to commit this murder.
I mean, and John would know how to commit a murder if he's with the mafia. So,
Yeah, I mean Bobo Dean. Yeah, I mean, but most mafia people are not killing people with hammers and choking them. And then the
no.
one knife that they did find, the one knife was bent. Like, how hard did you have to stab someone to bend a knife?
Yeah.
Like, it was like bent. It was bent
Yeah.
knife. Like that's
If
that's a part. That's like you're mad about something they did. That's just not a
yeah.
random crime that you do. Like, I'm gonna
No.
stab you so hard that's gonna bend a
No.
knife.
Well, and true. That's the thing. Now I'm the weirdo that does like like crime scenes. I'm just weird like that. Um, if you that they do have photo evidence of like the weapons that were found there and um like the cords that they were wrapped up in. They do have those sadly online, but they don't show any of the bodies or anything like that. Um, but it's weird seeing, like, it puts you in perspective of like, okay, that there was a motive there. That wasn't just a random. That was a motive. That's for sure a motive there. But so some of the comments, Gina had said, "Hey y'all, I made it. Hope you're having a good podcast."
Oh, Gina.
Aunt Kathy said there was no Amber alerts back then. No, yeah. No, I meant like they're like putting in the newspaper, or there was no newspaper articles of putting Tina missing. They didn't put any posters up. Like, it seemed like they weren't trying to find her. Like, she was just missing. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know how big of what you could have done back in the 80s too. That's
Yeah.
different.
I mean,
There wasn't a
putting in the
lot of
news.
like TV shows that you could go on. I mean, you only had like 3 channels on your TV anyway. You had like 2, 4, 5, 11,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there wasn't much you could newspaper wise and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So it was just it's weird. Brandy said, "Love the true crime. Interesting story. Thank you." Yeah. So I mean, it's still open. There's nothing that's been updated about it. But that was just one of the always ones that like kind of stuck with me when people are like, "Oh, true crime," and it's like, that's the one that I've always kind of been like, if I could know. I've always I just kicked my camera. Um, everyone's been like, what's that one true crime story that you would love to know before you die? And I'm like, that's the one. That would be the one that I'm like, what I want to know in detail what happened from the day before to exactly 3 years later. Like,
That's the one you would want to know before you died.
Mm-hmm.
Not the lady that in the hotel that found in the water thing, or the Black Dahlia, or any of those.
No, I kind of know who did. I kind of know who killed the Black Dahlia. That one's kind of a little more obvious. Elisa Lamb, yeah. I mean, I guess that would be another one that I would love to know what happened. But this is another one like that. I'm like, okay, what was the reason why you killed a single mother, her child, her son, and her son's best friend? Like, what made you want to kill those children? You involved children. So
yeah, there would have been other ways to get a hold of her to kill her than
killing
all those people.
What made it so bad that you had to kill the children?
Don't know
why
how
couldn't you have
road rage was back in the day.
Why couldn't you had blindfold them and put them in the bedroom with the other children? So,
well, because they already saw who you were.
It's one of those things.
I mean, if they saw who you were, then that's why they had to kill you, because those are liable people. I mean, they saw your face. So it's a weird thing.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
yeah, the
We'll never know
they'll never
because
know.
apparently they're not doing their job very well.
No, they're not. That's half the true crime. If you listen to half the unsolved true crime ones, like again, the big one, John Benet Ramsey, what did everyone do when they came in the door? They started looking through stuff. Like, why is everyone coming in the door? Why is
Yeah.
the neighbors coming in the house? Like,
Yeah, that was. I still think it was the boy. I
oh
think it was
yeah,
her
I think it
brother.
was too. I think it was too. He was jealous.
He was jealous. Yeah.
But
She got all
but
the
yeah,
attention.
that's pretty
That's
much
our
it.
true crime episode, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I love true crime. Me and my best friend have always thought about just starting it though our own, like doing our own podcast and talking about it, and because there's
Well,
tons.
if everything turns out and we don't do a podcast no more and we're on a radio show, then you can you and her can have all this lovely equipment to start your podcast
I know, right? I'll
and do
just
your own true crime podcast.
I don't know if anybody would like it though, because it'd just be me talking. But yeah,
Yeah,
no.
you gotta get better with that. You gotta do it in your own words. I'm just giving you trouble.
But yeah, no, I usually can, but that's a lot of dates and details, and it's a little easier when they can do their
But I did. I have to admit, I never knew anything about this story, so I learned something. I had to look up, and I was trying to find. A documentary on it. There's not a lot of anything that's on it. I mean, they do Cabin 28 or the movie, but that's a movie based on it's not really getting some really true facts about the situation.
yeah,
And then they said, oh, Strangers is like that. Well, Strangers were
that's a
wearing
horror
masks
movie.
and
Yeah,
they were tormenting the family before they killed them. Yeah. So, which is a good movie too, Brandy.
yeah. But
anything else you want? I mean, this is pretty. I mean,
no, we're good.
Yeah.
We're about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
So I hope everybody enjoyed our true crime. Next week, hopefully, we have Sheila on from Missouri State Penitentiary. Talking about the prison, or somebody on. Hopefully, somebody's on. I've been trying to get a hold of them, but yeah, hopefully will be our next week's guest and everything, and then we'll have the thing, and then the 28th is Maddie's 21st bash.
Yep. Sure is. Turn 21.
Hopefully have some good news for you guys next week too about our new endeavors and stuff like that. So with that,
you heard it here, folks.
Hey, stay weird. Be safe.
Bye, guys.